Today we are learning about factoring. We're going to be given trinomials, and we need to figure out what binomials will multiply to give us the answer. So what we like to do is think about what numbers multiply to 6 and what numbers add to give me 5. So here are the choices that I think about. 6 and 1, 1 and 6, 3 and 2, or 2 and 3. So we want to check these scenarios to figure out where could these multiply out to give me x squared plus 5x plus 6. If I were to FOIL these choices out, my first choice here would give me x squared plus 6x plus x plus 6, where my insides and outsides would make 7x, which is not that 5x we're looking for. Choice number 2, my insides and outsides would still give me 7x. So these two are the exact same thing, which makes sense because multiplication is commutative. It doesn't matter if x plus 6 is first or if x plus 1 is first. They'll both give us the same answer. So moving down to the bottom, remember these two are the same thing, so we have to check to see if it works. So we look at our insides and our outsides, and they give me 5x. So then this would be the correct factorization. So we're looking for tricks on how to come up with these answers today. So here's how I'd attempt this problem. I have a trinomial. I know my answer is going to be a binomial times a binomial. The only way for me to get an x squared is to multiply x times x. So I know there has to be an x here and there has to be an x here. Then I'm looking for factors of 6. The only way to get 6 are 6 and 1 and 3 and 2. Then I'm trying to figure out where can I add to 5. Well, 6 and 1 will not add to 5, but 3 and 2 will. So it doesn't matter where I put the 3 or where I put the 2. Because this is a positive 5 and a positive 6, these numbers would have to be plus and plus. So using our diamonds, what multiplies to 6 and adds to 5, our choices are 3 and 2. So those are the numbers that go up here. So again, number 2, we need to multiply two things to give us x squared. So we know our choices are x and x. Factors of 12. 12 and 1, 6 and 2, 3 and 4. So we want to know what two numbers multiply to 12 and add to 7. So our answer is 3 and 4. So to add to a 7, we need a positive 3 and a positive 4. Just to double check, my insides give me 3x, my outsides give me 4x. So those two add up to give me 7x. And if I multiply my last together, those would give me the 12. So my answer is binomial times binomial right in the red. Number 3 is different because it has a negative sign in here, whereas number 1 and 2 were all pluses between the terms. So let's go with the same pattern. We know the only way to get x squared is to take x times x. The ways to get a 6 would be a 6 and a 1 and a 3 and a 2. So what numbers multiply to 6 and add to negative 5? Well, that would have to be a negative 3 and a negative 2. So then see how these signs will carry in? So you get x minus 3 and x minus 2. So over here, we technically had a positive 3 and a positive 4, so we used plus signs. Going on to number 4. We know our answer is going to be a binomial, so we can at least get that part started. So x times x is the only way I can get x squared. Factors of 6. 6 and 1, 3 and 2. So in our heads, we're thinking what multiplies to give me negative 6, and what adds to give me negative 1. Well, to multiply to get a negative 6, I know that one of my numbers would have to be positive and the other one would have to be negative. So I'm thinking about this pair to get a negative 1. So I need a negative 3 and a positive 2. Because negative 3 plus 2 is negative 1, negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. So I carry the signs with. Then if I want to double check my answer, first gives me x squared, outside gives me 2x, inside gives me negative 3x, and last gives me negative 6. So simplifying my insides and outsides, right here, give me negative x, and then a minus 6. This is exactly like the question, so my answer is here in red. So the nice thing about today's lesson is that you can always multiply these out to check your answers. Moving on to number 5. Everything we do today is going to look like this. The only way to get x squared is to take x and x. Factors of 6, 6, 1, 3, 2. So in our head we're thinking what multiplies to give us negative 6 and what can add to give us a positive 1. So again, I think I'm dealing with a 3 and a 2. So I want a positive 3 and a negative 2. So they multiply to give me negative 6 and they add to give me 1. So I put a plus 3 in here and a negative 2 in here. Remember, this could also be my answer because multiplication is commutative. So the blue times the yellow is the exact same as the yellow times the blue. So these two answers are equivalent. So you could have either the top answer or the bottom answer. And to do a quick check, you check your insides and your outsides to see if they add to give me that middle term. And then your last, a negative 2 times a 3 gives me a negative 6. Pause the video and try number 6 on your own. When you're ready, push play. Factors of 8 are 8 and 1, 4 and 2. We need to find numbers that multiply to 8 and add to 6. So I'm going to choose 4 and 2. So it's a positive 4 and a positive 2. Double checking my answers, my insides give me 4x, my outsides give me 2x, so that gives me my 6, and then 4 times 2 we chose to be the multiplier to give us 8. Try these 3 problems. Please pause the video when you're ready for the answers. Number 7. I want numbers that multiply to negative 4 and add to 3. So I know I need to use my 4 and my 1 because 2 and 2 cannot give me a 3. So I need to subtract the 1. You could write the diamond out if you want. We need to multiply to negative 4 and add to 3, but you don't have to. So we want a positive 4 and a negative 1. If you'd like, you can double check your insides and your outsides. 4x minus x gives me 3x. Number 8, we need to multiply to 2 and add to 3. So my only choices are 2 and 1. Double check, 2x. For my insides, my outsides give me 1x. Those two add to give me the 3x. Number 9, 8. 8 and 1, 4 and 2. We need to add to a negative 2. So I'm leaning to these two numbers. So to multiply to a negative number, one of them has to be negative. To add to a negative number, we have to figure out which number needs to be bigger. So we need a 4 and a 2. So I think we're going to need negative 4 plus 2 to give me a negative 2. Double checking, my insides give me a negative 4x. My outsides give me a 2x. And they combine to give me negative 2x. Try the next 3. Pause the video until you're ready for the answers. Number 10. Factors of 12, 12, 1, 6, 2, 3, 4. It's a negative 12, so we know we need to have one positive and one negative. So to get 11, I think I need to deal with the 12 and the 1. So it's going to be a negative 12 and a positive 1. So my insides give me a negative 12x, my outsides give me a 1x, and that adds to be the negative 11x. I already picked negative 12 and 1 to multiply to negative 12, so I don't always check that number. I would say this is a harder level question just because there are lots of factors for 12. Number 11, 5 is prime, so there's only one pair of factors. So right away you should know that 5 and 1 have to go in here. We just have to decide on some signs. So we need to multiply to 5 and add to a negative 6. So that means the 5 and the 1 have to both be negative. Double checking. Insides give me negative 5x. Outsides give me negative x. Number 12, 20 has a lot of factors. 20 and 1, 10 and 2, 4 and 5. I have to add to get a 1. So right away I'm thinking numbers that are close together. So 4 and 5. It's negative 20, so one of them has to be negative. So I like 5 and a negative 4 to get 1. And notice again, insides give me 5x, outsides give me negative 4x. Those will add to give me that 1x. Try the last three, pause the video till you're ready. Question 13. Factors of 16, 16, 1, 8, 2, 4, 4. We need to add to 8. So I'm liking 4 and 4. Number 14. Multiples of, or factors of 24. 24, 1, 12, 2, 8, 3, 6, 4. I need a negative 10. So I'm thinking a negative 6 and a negative 4. They will multiply to positive 24 and they will add to negative 10. Number 15, factors of 14. 14 and 1, 7 and 2. We need a negative 5. So that's a negative 7 and a positive 2. This concludes my video.